Nice work, Caleb. Stay relaxed. Focus on him. Stay relaxed.
So sick, Scott.
Just relax. Just relax.
That was me in the second race of last year's cross-country season. And it was times like that that made me often question why I was a runner, until I realised it really wasn't about the running. While running has been a bit of a love-hate relationship with myself, I came down and boiled down why I like to do it. Let's get one thing straight, and you can ask any person this, even yourself. Running is not fun. Nothing about running is excitable, especially not in racing. Now, there are some races that can, have fun aspects to it, but as a whole, running sucks. What I realised about running was, from when I started and how it's going, that running truly isn't about how fast you can run or that. It's about achievement. Running is about getting to the end of the day and going, oh man, I did something good today. Or I've climbed a new rank, and having things to look forward to. Now this manifests different for everybody, but for me, this was 100% poured into my ability to run fast and to beat competition. This always posed a question to me though. What happens when there's no competition? I want to start with a story from a race that I did down in Gloucester. And this race is called the Gloucester Mountain Man. It's a small town and they all get together to watch this race. And I was super excited to start off this race. I was racing in the under 18s category. We all raced together. And I was so nervous to meet my competition on that first night. Now they have a big dinner that they call the Carbo dinner. And oh my goodness, the food they served there. I felt like I was going to spew after eating 3 bites. It was that fatty. But during the race, I'm looking around on the race day, looking around trying to see who my competition are. And suddenly, in a pool of 1,000 people, I felt very, very, very alone. I take a look around and to my half delight, half horror, I can see that in the under 18s category, there's approximately 2 people, one being myself and one being some tiny kid. And I am kind of shocked. At first I thought this is amazing, and then I realized I have nobody to race this whole event. And I knew that I probably wasn't going to win the top event for the men's. And so the gun sounded and off I go. And in a pool of thousands of people, and by thousands I mean like 50, I'm looking around racing everybody with the full knowledge in my head that I'm going to win the race no matter what. And that was super cool to think about as the whole town of Gloucester is standing around cheering me on. Until a complication arose. I'm riding my bike and I'm riding pretty well. I'm probably around the top pack when I just hear a snap, a loud snap happen. And I look down at my bike and in horror I can see my derailleur has been bent through my wheel in the race that I was designed to win. Not only this, but my dad was going to podium as well. And so this was going to be a really major moment for me. And so, in shock, I start crying. So, during this race, I was so keen. I'd been training up and it's a race my dad's won 3 times. So I was super excited to do my best at it. And this derailleur snapping really caused me a lot of sadness. I remember talking to the official there and telling him my whole story about how this event was ruined and this weekend was a bust. And jokingly, one of the other officials looks over to us and goes, "Oh, you could always run it, mate." But I knew that wasn't true because I had 15 Ks left to go. And then it snapped. I only have 15 Ks left to go. And so that's what I did. I gave my bike to an official, I held my helmet, and I went running. And I start running down that hill, knowing that the next 7 Ks after that are going to be straight uphill. Now, I have lost the race in a pool of 2 against a 13-year-old kid at 17 years old. And devastated is an understatement. But I was not going to let anything stop me from finishing that race. And so I just start blasting that 15Ks. I'm running, I'm puffing and I'm huffing. And while I'm doing that, I start notice this weird thing to happen, which is motorbikes are coming past me and dropping things off to me like water and different things. They took my helmet for me and they gave me Gatorade as well. And I started to realize that even though I was technically the loser, I was winning in so many people's eyes. So that happened, and as I come to the last kilometer uphill, knowing that there's a very steep downhill into a creek at the very end of this race, I'm running up this hill and I just feel so down. I know I've lost my race, but this is a multi-stage event. So it's a bike, a paddle, and then a run. And so I have to just mentally block that out and see what I can do in the paddle and the run. And so I did that. And I come to the end of the run. I've got 200 meters left, and I look over the creek, and the whole of the town of Gloucester is there around the creek cheering me on. Somebody had clearly told them on the motorbikes, and so they were super excited to watch that kid who had just snapped his derailleur finish the ride. The rest of the event was fun as, and I did pretty well. I had to run another 10Ks on top of that 15, and so I was cooked. And as I come around to the end, I find out I've still come first place in my age category of 2. But this was short-lived, as I'm standing at the finish line, an official comes over to me, and it becomes apparent to me that on the ride, when I was running, I missed a 2K loop, and so I am ineligible to win the race. And I was devastated. But as the award ceremony was going on, the young man who I lost to gets called up for his first place medal, and they call me up for my second place medal, 2 of 2. And as I get called up to that podium, I feel a little bit embarrassed because there's a 13-year-old kid standing next to me who also vomited on the bike leg. And as I stand up there, the entire town of Gloucester starts cheering me on. And by that point, it had thinned out a bit, but they all start cheering me on. And now I'll forever be known as the Gloucester Mountain Man running the bike leg kid. So, I can confidently say I don't have a Gloucester first place medal hanging around my neck. And while I was sad about that, I was talking to my dad and he goes, "Caleb, you were the real winner in this situation because you didn't give up." And that's what I feel like running is actually all about. It's not about winning. It's not about any of that kind of stuff. It's not about times. What it's about is not giving up in the face of adversity. In a 5K run, the first K might be easy, the rest is hard. But when you finish that race and you PB'd it, you didn't give up. You didn't give up in training and you didn't give up in the race. And that's exactly what's so important about running. Now, not everybody is going to love running, okay? If we all loved running, the world would not be interesting. But what I want to challenge you guys with is find an area to strive. Just like in that race I was striving, I want you to find an area that you can strive in. And I think physical exercise is the best way to do this quick and easily. Because it can be hard in like 2 minutes if you want it to be. You go on one run and you can be puffed in a minute. And that's why I think facing adversity through physical exercise is something that is vital to every human experience. And it grows you beyond what you think you can do.